All right, it's warm. People are deciding to ride motorcycles. Let's try and get through this. A June TBR. It's summer. I don't like summer. I guess technically it's not summer, but it was 90 degrees today. It was 85 degrees in the place where I work. I'm not ready because I'm not allowed to wear like summer clothes to work. So like I'm just uncomfortable all the time. But I'm really excited because this is my readathon TBR for the Olympics readathon at Shelf Space, and I now know my team. I'm on Team Eos, which is, I believe, a goddess that's like the daughter of a titan, like Hyperion and this other one, which you'd think Hyperion would be on this TBR, but it's not. Spoiler alert. And I'm so excited. We're all already just chatting, and like the Discord is just so fun. This is like my favorite readathon of the year. Unfortunately, if you missed it, you can't sign up anymore. There was like a hard cutoff date. I tried to tell you guys, so hopefully I'm not the one breaking your hearts, but let's get into it. There are 16 prompts. You also don't have to read in the prompts, but I fit all of my options into it because I am not reading 16 books in June. Like, I have never done that. I think my best reading month ever was maybe 13 books, and even then there were just like a lot of novellas in there. I also have a lot of thick books in this pile, but I do like the idea of like just being able to like move around and see what I'm feeling, although I will say there are some that I have to read because of obligations, and I'll like put like a star or maybe a sun because Eos is like the goddess of dawn or something. I'll put some indicator around the books that are like I have to read in case I don't like actually say that. And so let's go through the prompts and what I tentatively have in those slots, because some things can move around and some things are about tropes, and sometimes I guess with tropes, like I think based off the synopsis, and like for one of the books like no one's even like read them because sometimes I read arcs, so I just do my best. But the first prompt in the whole like 4x4 bingo square is Zeus, and that just needs a patriarchy or a kingdom, and I'm using our Space Sirens book club pick for not this month, this month's The Unbroken, but the next month is The Stolen Kingdom. And I don't actually know if this is a patriarchy, but there's kingdom in the title. So I'm going to say it counts. This one is one that our friend Carrie is like super excited that we all picked because I think it's a very underrated series. I think it's an Aladdin retelling, which like I don't think I've read one of those, and Aladdin is one of my favorite films. I don't know much about like the origin story of Aladdin. Like I think I've maybe consumed the like the original story in like I think the Arabian Nights. I'm not really sure, but like if it's a retelling based off like the Disney Aladdin, I'm kind of excited. But that's my Zeus thing, and I think for sure I should try and read it because I need it for the discussion in July. But also I have been known to like read books the beginning of the month in which we discuss them, so we'll see. But that's my tentative slot for Zeus. And then we have Poseidon. And this one I'm doing Lagoon by Nidia Okorafor, which also happens to be the book that my Patreons voted for me to read. It was really neck and neck, so I actually put like number 1 and 2 on the TBR, but this is the one that I will for sure be reading because of that, and I've been really interested in this work by Nidia Okorafor. I don't know a lot about it, but the synopsis looked a little weird. It's like a bunch of people meet and then stuff happens, and it's supposed to work for like my first encounter hard mode trope for like the bingo board. I don't know. I just know Lagoon, it's a place of water. It starts off and takes place near a body of water. So it works the Poseidon prompt. Also, if you look at the cover, I think I will have chosen the cover that has a lot of water on it. I'm not sure. That's the one my Kindle has. It has like a lot of water and bubbles. So I'm pretty sure it works. I haven't read it, obviously. I'm very like hit or miss with her work. Sometimes I really like it, like Remote Control. I really enjoyed that, but like the Binti trilogy, I was a little like more lukewarm to like good with. Like there were some things I really loved and other things I was like, eh. So I'm really hoping this more scratches my like, this is some cool sci-fi kind of itch. Now, the next one's Hades, and this one needs to have like undead or ghosts or something. I don't know. But I'm probably not going to make this prompt, but I did pick things that are like kind of in my nebulous TBR space, but it's not like a super high priority, but it could happen if like I just mood read. So one of them is Certain Dark Things by Silvia Moreno Garcia. This is being reprinted in I think September, and I have an E-arc, and I know there's vampires. So that works. And then I also have Harrow the Ninth, which I really don't have any desire to prioritize because I don't love Gideon the Ninth. But it's nominated for a Hugo, so that puts it on my list, and Bethany from Beautifully Bookish Bethany really wants me to read it. and it's always available at my library because it's like the sequel in a series that's like really hard to get into. So either of those could work. One I have on hand as an ARC, and the other one's kind of part of my like internal need to try and read all Hugo nominees for some reason. It's not healthy. I should just DNF this series, guys, especially with everything I've heard. But I'm also always intrigued because it's so weird, and obviously there are skeletons and necromancy, hence why it works for Hades. Alright, this next one's Hestia, and this is where I'm guessing, but I'm also positive I could switch things around and fulfill this prompt if need be. And I'm going to choose Shadows of the Short Days. Now, the prompt for this is Found Family. I have no clue if this has Found Family, but I think it does. Based off the synopsis, there's like revolutionaries and rebels, and that always seems to be the right environment for Found Family. I could also slot this in for a different prompt that I'll talk about later, but tentatively, I have this as Found Family, and I'd like to get to it because I bought it, and I'd like to read the things that I purchase, so we'll see if that happens. So that's Hestia. And now we have Hephaestus, and this one I'm for sure reading because I was supposed to start it in May. And did I? No. And that's Memories of Ice. Now this is going to work for Hephaestus because it has a fire on the cover. See all that fire? And part of the reason, though, I didn't start it is because you can start books in May and finish them in June and count them for their page length or whatever. But, like, one of the, like, cutoff points is, like, 900 pages. So if I read too much of this, I'd have to put it in the lower tier. So if I finish this is worth, like, lots of points. So this is for sure being read because I'm really feeling it. I really want to get to it. It's, like, one of my top chonker fantasy priorities. I say that, but I feel like I have a lot that are. I'm not going to accomplish all my goals, but I want to have really cool goals, so I'm going with it. If you don't know, this is the third book in the Malazan Book of the Fallen series. I don't know if that's actually the like canonical title of the whole thing. I have a whole Malazan playlist if you want to hear my spoiler-free and spoiler thoughts of the first two books. I don't know if I'm going to continue the spoiler-free reviews. If that's something that you really want, let me know, and I will. I'll probably just keep it spoiler-filled from here on out for, like, Memories of Ice and everything. And I tend to just, like, really hyper-analyze and annotate and vlog these books, because for me, that's where I get my enjoyment from this series. The next one's Dionysus, and you need red or white on the cover, and this is going to be Mind of My Mind by Octavia Butler, the second book in the Patternist series. I think that's the name of it. And I really liked Wild Seed. It's a book that I don't know how to explain why I like it so much, because it's such an interesting experience reading this book. I really liked it. I like her writing style, like, a lot, and I'm so curious about where things are going, and Amazon Prime Reads, if you're in the US, has like the whole series, well, everything but the out-of-print book for free on Amazon Prime Reads, and you can get the out-of-print book at Sister Sci-Fi, which I'll have the store link down below. And so, yeah, and they're short. It's short quality sci-fi. It's like 200 some pages, like, yes. And as you can see, red and white on the cover. At least I'm calling it red and white. It depends which screenshot I put up, but it looks very red at bookstores, and I'm counting it. All right, this next one's Hermes, and it needs to have like a quest or travel or something like that. And this is going to be Obelisk, which I'm reading this season now, and I'll have finished it very soon. But this definitely has some traveling for some of our characters. I remember that, because this is a reread, and I'm loving reading Jemison again so much. Like, if you hadn't seen it, I made a Where to Start for NK Jemison video that I'm really proud of, and I'm so happy I have that to, like, point to people. I don't know, when you make videos, some videos you're more proud of than others because you're like, oh yes, this should probably stand the test of time in terms of, like, what you're willing to accept as in quality and things like that. Regardless, we have the slow read-along happening with Chloe from Thistle and Verse. I probably will finish the 5th season this week, and Obelisk Gate is on deck for the Hermes prompt. Okay, so this next one's Artemis, and it needs to have moon or night in the title or on the cover, because that's Artemis's thing. And this one, like I said, Shadows of the Short Day could work for, because we got some moon. But this was like the second place winner on the poll for Patreon, so I might prioritize this. And it's been like on my like nebulous TBR for over a year, and that's Lobazona. And again, moon on the cover. It also, I think, has like a werewolf type theme or vibe. I don't know a lot about it. I know Jocelyn really likes it, and I trust Jocelyn like implicitly. And I've been wanting to read this. I think it also has some really good themes around undocumented immigration and things like that. It just seems like the young adult book that like works for me. And with a lot of the denser reads I have, it would be nice to have like a young adult to just like grab for. So that's why that's also here. but it was like second place on my Patreon poll, so yeah. All right, so this next one is going to be for Apollo, and this has to be like a non-traditional thing, so like in verse or short story collections or novellas. I think there might be more, but I'm choosing a short story collection because it's been a minute. I'm going to do New Suns, which also works really well because Apollo's the god of suns, right? But New Suns is a short story anthology, lots of authors. It's edited by, I think, Nisi Shawl. Hopefully I'm saying that right. If not, I will correct what it is on the screen. But I've been wanting to read this for a while. I bought it when it was on sale, and I don't know, Shannon was always talking to me about it. I just want to read more stories from other authors. It's been a minute since I've stuck my nose into a short story collection, so I'm excited to use this for that prompt. This next one is Aries. It has to have military fantasy, I'm pretty sure. Or it can be military sci-fi, I believe. But, like I was saying, so Space Sirens has a book club in June, and I have not read that book yet, and that's The Unbroken. This is a debut. I am 99% sure there's military fantasy, which is also why I'm a little apprehensive, because that's not my thing, and I don't think it's very high magic, but maybe the writing will work, and maybe I'll connect to the characters, and honestly, if those two things work, I can read anything. So we will see what happens. I have it on my Kindle. I'm really hoping for the best and that I like it, and that's my Aries prompt. And now we have Aphrodite, which is beautiful cover, which is the most subjective of prompts. And I am going to choose to read a Karen Lord for this, because I recently bought 2 Karen Lord books, the last 2 for my collection. One is The Galaxy Game. Yes, I also went and found the UK hardcover because it matches the best of all possible worlds. This is so, yes, do you know me? I needed it. And look at the swan, and it's so pretty. I don't think most people know, and I don't think it's well said, that these are companion stories, it's the same world. So this is it's not a series per se, this is a standalone, but I think a character that's introduced in this is the main character of this. And he's really only in the first book for a minute. And I'm just, based off what that character had to go through, I'm really excited to see how that's handled and where we're going to explore. I'm nervous about it because it doesn't get the greatest reviews on Goodreads, but I also just adore every sentence Karen Lord writes, so I'm just really excited. For myself, I have pretty good expectations, but I'm also going in with tempered expectations, so hopefully that is a recipe for being really happy with what this is. Regardless, I'm so pleased with this book. It's so pretty. Or if I don't want to pick up that, if I don't want a sci-fi, which I'll probably want a sci-fi, I also have Unraveling by Karen Lord, which is the kind of companion to Redemption and Indigo. It's the same world, but I think not connected in the slightest. At least that's my interpretation. I don't know anything about it. I'm going to go in completely blind. What I do know is that this was the first Karen Lord ever recommended to me by Njiri from Onyx Pages, and they recommended it to me because I liked This Is How You Lose the Time War. So that's all I've got, that I'm going to probably just have to go with it, because that's what I had to do with This Is How You Lose the Time War. So these are my beautiful cover options. Now we have Hera, Matriarchy, and I feel like this is a stretch, but everyone tells me it works, and I have to read this book anyways, and that's Lord of Chaos by Robert Jordan. It is time to jump back into Wheel of Time with audiobooks. So this is my audiobook. I'm buddy reading it with Stephanie, so it's going to be great. Doesn't take up any of my physical reading time, which is ideal, although the audiobook is 45 hours long. And I don't read it at one time speed, but that's still so long. So that's most of the month. But it's also a lot of pages. I have to figure out if it's going to be above 900 or if it's below that. I have no sense of how long Wheel of Time books are. They're just very, very long. But I think this is the end of everyone's favorite arc before the weird books that most people are oh, that was a choice. I mean, I hesitate to say the slog, although that's what everyone says, but it seems like most people for books 7, 8, 9, and maybe 10 are just decisions were made in what we focused on here. So I think this is one of the last books that everyone's oh yeah, this is awesome, look at all the things, all the implications. So hopefully that's how I feel too. I have a very mixed experience with Wheel of Time. And after I finish this book, I'm going to make a video, probably spoiler-free, with maybe a spoiler section at the end, being let's talk about my experience with Wheel of Time, because that might help some people. And also, I just need it off my chest. But that is my Hera prompt. Okay, this next one's the hardest prompt. This is Demeter. I think that's how you say her name. Her Roman name's cool, because it's the origin of the word for cereal. It's pretty great. But this has to have food on the cover. So it can't have food in the title or anything like that. It has to be on the cover. And I found one book on my want to read shelf that had food on the cover, and the audiobook's available. So if I finish Lord of Chaos, I can listen to this audiobook, and that's The Book of Salt. And here's the food on the cover. This is recommended by Audrey at Perpetual Pages. Again, I trust them implicitly. I have never read a book that they've recommended that was below 4 stars. Most of the time, it's like new favorites or a new experience. They read a lot of stuff that I don't typically grab for, and that's usually a great thing. So this one, I don't remember much. I think it's a Vietnamese author. I think it might be memoir-like. I don't know. But I know that they gave it 5 stars, and that whatever they said in that wrap-up made me hit the want to read button. So here we are, Demeter. This is my attempt. Now we're on to Athena, which needs to have political intrigue. And for this, I am putting in Ship of Destiny. I finished The Mad Ship last month, and probably the weekend after seeing this, I'm putting my Mad Ship, spoiler discussion video online, because I filmed it, but I haven't, done any of the, other work that needs to be done to get that out there. And I need to finish this series. I'm really excited. And there's a lot of politics. It's not necessarily the forefront of the story, but there's a lot going down between Bingtown and this one region and this other region, which if that's not political, I don't know what is. So we're gonna go with that. And then we have the politics between this one tribe and the Bingtown folk. There's a lot. I think there's even politics within the magical creature world. So It has political intrigue by my definition, and I didn't put it as Poseidon, but it would also work really well for Poseidon, but I wanted to sneak Lagoon in over there. And now we're at my team's prompt, Eos, so I get double points for this. So I had to rearrange things to make sure my largest book got put here, so I can get the most points. And that's going to be the Jasmine Throne. So the prompt for this is the first in a series. So this is the first in a series. It comes out in June. I have an arc. I have not read the arc yet. I am behind. This is probably going to be a theme for me in arcs forever, so I should just get used to it. But I don't know anything about this. I know I'm supposed to read this author because, again, Jocelyn loves her, and I trust her. And I have an arc, and I don't know anything about it. I think it might be more leaning towards fantasy romance than typical fantasy political intrigue, which, honestly, ideal for me. I have no clue. It's the first in the series. It's over 500 pages. It goes in this slot, so I can get the most points for my team. And the last book that I have that I was also supposed to read in May, and did not, is Hero of Ages by Brandon Sanderson, the last book in the Mistborn trilogy. I'm really wanting to dive back into this one. I just haven't yet. I think it's because I fell down the 5th season rabbit hole instead. When I had my last month's TBR, I had a lot of options, and that's the one that won. It rose to the top, rightfully so. It's so good. But I do want to wrap this up before too much space happens, just because I don't binge read series, but I do like to read them in kind of short succession. I don't like too many months to go by between books, so that's the attempt. So those are all the books. It's a lot of books. I'm not reading all those books, but I guess here is your power. Besides the ones I said I have to read, if there are other books that you're ooh, I really want to know your thoughts, please tell me in the comments, because I do listen to that. Because, obviously I want to talk about and read things that other people want to talk about, because all I want to do ever is talk about books. That's why this channel exists. And otherwise, are you participating? If so, what team are you on? What cool, Discord name did you give yourself? I am Hyperion. And also, a fun fact about the Eos team that is, my favorite thing is, if you don't know, my name's Angela. And you know what? There are a bunch of Angelas that randomly got put into the Eos channel. There's 4 of us. And then other people started changing their names to have Angelas in it. And my name has never been a very popular name. It's a very old name, and certain countries have it more than others. It's Latin-based, so it's never going to go out of style. But it hasn't been really popular in the US while I have been alive, per se. Except in my family, where my abuela is Angela, and my baby cousin is Angela, and I'm Angela. And when we're all 3 in a room, it's a thing. But I just love that we're accidentally the Angela channel. It's pretty great. It's just it's just fun. Someone put a meme together. I'll show you guys here. It's just a fun time. It's my favorite readathon. I love the camaraderie. I'm really excited to beat Team Zeus. It's just gonna be great. Zeus is Alan's team, if you didn't know. And if you didn't know, everyone's against Team Alan except Alan's team, of course. And if you want to leave an emoji, leave a sun, because Goddess of Dawn, of course, right? And like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.